Geimos was actually one of the reasons I decided to start this project. A few years ago, as I was trying to build my Famicom collection, I had Geimos on the list and I went, what's this game? And a Google search turned up one video where somebody played it for about 5 minutes and was done. I said to myself, maybe somebody should be documenting some of these more obscure games and giving people better context on them. And it took 4 or 5 years, wavering back and forth, before I actually sat down and did this. But here we are. Now at first blush, you might be looking at those scrolling effects and saying, isn't Gamos just like Exarion? At least you might be saying that if you can even remember that Exarion exists. Gamos is a very different game. Exarion was effectively a single-screen shooter with enemies entering from the top and getting shot down. Gamos attempts a very ambitious pseudo-3D effect, and its mixture of ground and air targets makes it more like Xevious than Exarion. The B button fires your pulsar, the anti-aircraft weapon, and the A button fires your quasar, the anti-ground weapon. There are 6 stages in all that take you across the solar system. I don't think that surface you're flying over looks very much like the moon, but according to the manual's story, in 2315, a group of aliens called Mastodon invaded the solar system using their mothership Phobos. Only the state-of-the-art space fighter Gamos can stop the mothership, but the mothership is equipped with warp engines, and every time it's threatened, it escapes to another planet. The first place you strike is their forward base on the moon. So there we go, those blue strips are the moon. What all of that story amounts to is that you fly over the surface of a planet's satellite, eventually you reach the alien mothership, and you have to shoot its tiny vulnerable point 5 times before it warps away. If it warps, then you go back to the beginning of that level. But if it explodes, then you go to the next planet. Yes, I know that the story said that the mothership escapes. Any death on a level sets you back to the beginning of that level. And while the exact positions that the aliens may enter from are randomized, they are consistent with the waves. There's 6 stages in all, and this is a relatively easy shooter once you know what to do. One strategy page I found recommended dodging over actually attacking, but in my experience that results in too many bullets flying around. Those bullets are a real problem too. Geimos has a serious issue with not being able to draw everything that it's putting on the screen. So you'll get flicker, but in the really intense situations, it just won't draw things like bullets. If you opened up the ROM and played it once or twice, I can guarantee that you'd get frustrated. The best strategy is really to hit and move. Shoot down who you can, but recognize that there's going to be bullets that you can't see flying at you, and to dodge them preemptively. I tried a rapid-fire controller with Gamos, and that did not work out very well. The number of shots you can generate is pretty limited, and they affect other enemy visibility. You're much better off button mashing for this one. All the footage you've seen so far has been Mode A, and that's because Mode B is a bit weird. It's not a more difficult game version. Well, not intentionally. In Mode A, your ship moves around the screen. In Mode B, the screen moves around your ship. It's disorientating and you can't aim anywhere. It's a real, why would you even put this on here kind of mode. Upon release, Gamos was one of the most expensive Famicom games out there. 5,500 yen for a game was a big ask when there were other games for 4,500 yen. Gamos has a bit of a weird split in reputation in Japan. Half the people seem to call it out as a perfect example of the bad games at the time, and half of them call it out as a secret gem. I gotta say I fall on the side of the people who think it's kinda bad. The mothership is cool, and the graphics of the planets are pretty nifty, but those striped bars give me a headache, and not drawing vital things half the time makes it rough to play. I'll give it points for ambition, and it is better than some of the really awful stuff we've been seeing. but this is another one for completists only.